Hello friends, welcome to engineering tutorial. So we'll continue our discussion related to atmospheric science. So previously we discussed the basic concepts related to atmosphere, then the different layers in the atmosphere starting from troposphere to exosphere and their basic characteristics. In this video, we are going to discuss about an important layer which is not discussed. We did not discuss it in, while discussing the broad categorization of the different layers in the atmosphere. I decided to allot a separate video for it, and that layer is called as ionosphere. Okay, so ionosphere is basically a region in the upper atmosphere which is basically from 80 kilometers above the surface of the earth from this point to about 1000 kilometers. Okay, so this entire region, that is called the spherical region, that is called as ionosphere. And as the name suggests, this entire spherical region, it consists of mainly positive ions and free electrons, and that's why it derives its name from that. As it contains a lot of positive ions and free electrons, this entire spherical region surrounding the atmosphere from 80 kilometers to 1000 kilometers around the surface of the earth, that is called as ionosphere. So the next important question is, how and why was it formed? Now here we know that the atmosphere, it consists of several gases. Okay, nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, argon, water vapor, and different in a proper definite proportion. Now we know that sun, it emits high energy radiations, ultraviolet rays and X-rays. So when these high energy radiations, they strike the atmospheric gases, sometimes they knock out electrons from these these gaseous atoms, and this results in the generation of a positive ion and a free electron. So this whole process is called as ionization, and specifically as it is caused by the sun rays, it is called as photoionization. Okay, this process of photoionization is basically a gaseous atom. When it is, when it strikes the ultraviolet rays and X-rays from the sun, it strikes the gaseous atoms, it knocks out free electrons, leaving behind a positive ion. This whole process is called as ionization or photoionization. Now, as more and more of this occurs, more and more, gaseous atoms, they get ionized, that is converted into positive ions, and free electrons are knocked out from them. The atmosphere is more and more loaded with positive ions and free electrons. Okay, so this entire environment, this air, it becomes electrically charged, and this creates the ionosphere. Now here there are two things that are happening here. First is the ionization, which is basically this, okay, sun rays striking the gaseous atoms, ionizing them, creating a positive ions, knocking out a free electron. Then another process is also happening, which is the reverse. That is, the positive ions, they recombine with the free electrons to come back to their original state. So here there is two things. More ionization means more charged particles will be there, more positive ions, more free electrons, and more recombination means there will be less charged particles. So there is always a balance between ionization, the amount of ionization, and the amount of recombination happening. Okay, this whole thing, ionization, so how it starts? First, the sun rays, it strikes the gaseous atoms present in the atmosphere. They produce positive ions and free electrons. This happens for a certain period of time. Then what happens? The reverse thing. The positive ions which are there, when they combine with the electrons, they come back to their original state. So it depends on how many, the quantity of positive ions of different gases and the number of electrons. So if the number of electrons are less as compared to the positive ions, so it means recombination rate will be less. So there is always a natural equilibrium between ionization and recombination. So this rate of ionization and rate of recombination, this gives us different ionospheric layers. Okay, so we have D, E, F1 and F2 layer. The D layer, it is from 80 kilometers above the surface of the earth. Then we have the E layer, which is from 105 kilometers. So 80 to 105, that is the D layer. E layer starts from 105 kilometers. F1 layer starts from 175 kilometers and F2 layer starts from 250 kilometers. So the final is up to 1000. So 250 to 1000, that is the F2 layer. 250 to 1000 kilometer, F2 layer. 175 to 250, F1 layer. 105 to 175, E layer. 80 to 105, D layer. So this is the different layers in the ionosphere. Okay. Now, why are there different ionospheric levels? So, as I said here, it all depends on the rate of ionization and rate of recombination. It depends on the number of gas molecules which are there, the number of free electrons which are available, the amount of solar radiation, UV and X-rays that is reaching a particular layer. So, all of these factors, they combine to form they produce different rates of ionization and recombination, and as a result different amount of charged particles and free electrons. So here the amount of ionization, first it depends on the altitude mainly. So at very high altitude, that is in the 300 to 400 kilometers and beyond that, in that range, the solar radiation is very strong. Very few gas molecules are there. Even if the solar radiation is strong, the amount of gas molecules that are present is very less. So as a result, little ionization takes place. Then we have the middle latitudes. Okay, so it is from 80 to around 300 kilometers, in that range. Okay, 80 to 300 kilometers. Here solar radiation is still moderate but strong. More gas molecules are available, so ionization rate is higher. Then at lower altitudes, that is lesser than 80 kilometers, gas molecules are there. The amount of gas molecules is high, but the solar radiation which was available, it is absorbed by the middle altitudes. The gas molecules in the middle altitudes, they absorb the energy from the solar radiations, the UV and X-rays, they are already consumed. So the amount that reaches the lower altitudes, it is bit less. So as ionization decreases, recombination becomes strong. So it's always opposite. If ionization increases, recombination decreases. If recombination increases, ionization decreases. So they both, are reverse, one, bidirectional process, one way and the other. So if one increases, other decreases. If other increases, this one decreases. So they act in a way that a natural equilibrium is always established. Now, there is a special name which is associated with this ionosphere, which is called as plasma. Because of these ionization, photoionization, there are a lot of charged particles, that is positive ions, positive gaseous ions and free electrons are there. Now this whole concentration of charged particles, that is the positive ions and free electrons, collectively it is called as plasma. Okay, a gas containing many charged particles, it is called as plasma. It is often referred to as the fourth state of matter: solid, liquid, gas and charged environment, positive ions and free electrons, that is called as plasma. So this layer is called as the plasma layer, the ionosphere. Now why is ionosphere important? Now the ionosphere, it is important because of the presence of these charged particles. It helps in the transmission and reflection of radio waves back to the earth. So the radio communication, long distance radio communication, ship to shore communication, aircraft communication, military communication, long distance broadcasting, large distance communication, it is possible because of the presence of ionosphere, okay, the charged particles. Okay, so that's why ionosphere is very, very important. Okay, so this is all about ionosphere. Okay, so this is the thing.